Hey folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. There you go. There's how you can get in touch with the show. Now, okay, first of all, we're going to play a video first, all right? And what I want to do is give you every way possible that I can within 2 hours of watch out, this is what the media is doing, this is what they're trying to do. Now, I don't pick up many people throughout the day, whether Mark Levin, Rush Limbaugh will probably at 12 really just start nailing this down for you. And but in my 2 hours, I like to show a couple different things and not timelines per se. And let's go through, before we get into Colin Kaepernick does not want to play. Now, I watch the Sunday shows. Now, we're up to bribery and witness intimidation, a pattern to intimidate witnesses. So let's go through a couple pictures, okay? Number 11. All right, this is this week on ABC, pattern to intimidate witnesses. Let's go into number 12, stark emotion. Okay. Number 13. Now this is a pattern of the reason I clipped this, and I'll have a picture of him in a minute. The goofy little guy looking directly at you, not Schiff, the goofy little guy looking directly at you, is he not the crazy ass Democrat that said actually hearsay is better than firsthand? I mean, this is crazy. This is bat crap crazy, okay? Number 14. Now, this is ABC yesterday. Brazen tweet from Trump. Schiff had a choice to stay focused or read the tweet, okay? We already showed you this yesterday, number 15. This has been a very painful period. We showed you that a minute ago. Let's go past that. Now we've got, and we're going to get into the boy that would be king here in a minute. The Washington Post, right? Several Democrats, this is number 21, the Washington Post, several Democrats have stopped using the term quid pro quo, instead describing bribery now. Bribery, extortion, as more direct summation, forget it, of Trump's alleged conduct. The shift came after Democrat Congressional Campaign Committee conducted focus groups in key House battlegrounds. They did a focus group in key battleground areas. The DCCC. Quid pro quo wasn't playing. Bribery was scoring higher. Trying to intimidate the witness? Who's doing the intimidating here? Who is trying to, let's say, interfere with an election? Number 22. Now, keep in mind Sondland. I'm going to tell you something in a minute once I go through the picture. Sondland, okay? Because he's this week. Number 22, this guy, this new star that we don't know, did not give a SH about Ukraine. Big stuff like the Biden investigation that Giuliani was pushing. I tell you what, this restaurant in Kiev is very popular now. They got a sign out front. Restaurant where Sondland was overheard quid pro quo with Ukrainian president. Oh, yeah. Oh, this place is the bomb diggity now. Everybody's going there. Number 23. I then heard President Trump ask, so is he going to do the investigation loud enough? Did everybody in the damn restaurant hear me? Ambassador Sondland replied that he's going to do it. He's got to do it. And then Number 24. Trump's always got to ask, what's this President Zelensky? What's he think of me? President Zelensky loves your ass, man. He loves your ass. Cool. So look, we always have to have a scary picture of this piece of garbage, number 25 shift. Okay. Then we have, now look at number 26. If you go and listen to every single thing that the media has presented and reported on these three, Mr. Kent, Ambassador Taylor, Ambassador Yovanovitch, credible, truthful, compelling evidence, mounting evidence, everything about their account is so accurate and true. Why you can't question them, and even when Republicans do, they just look angry. This is according to the media. This is the tweet. We're going to bypass reading all of it, 27, in the effort of time. Okay. It's the tweet. Okay. Here is Meet the Press. Here is number 28, Impeachment Showdown. This is This Week with George Snuffleupagus, number 30. Household's first public impeachment hearings. Number 31. It don't matter how factual you are, ma'am. It's irrelevant, okay? Miss Stefanik, it's irrelevant how factual you are. Number 32. The woman. Bad news. She is going through some things. That's what they pulled out of there. Now, Zelensky does not want Yovanovitch, Ambassador, he does not want her there, okay? And let me say this, you are serving at the pleasure of the President of the United States of America. He could just decide. Now, we all know every bit of this foreign policy has been a deep state bureaucracy that Trump, everything that's happening is every reason you voted for Trump. Everything that's happening actually is every reason you asked him to be president of the United States. Period. Everything. I mean, how many of you have seen more memes on the Facebook and the internet that, Trump went to Washington, D.C. and turned the lights on and all the roaches are scattering everywhere under the lights? I'm serious. So that being said, let's move along. This is Will Hurd, number 33. Now, the only reason I took this picture, okay, the only reason I took this picture is because remember when Ralphie said fudge? That's what Will Hurd looks like he's about to say. It's fudge, okay, sorry. Number 34, Ambassador Gordon Sondland, October 17th, House deposition. I recall no discussions with State Department or White House officials about former Vice President Biden and his son, nor do I recall taking part in any effort to encourage investigation into the Bidens. What were you doing at that restaurant in Kiev? Number 35, did Sondland, now we're going to paint a picture. Did Sondland perjure himself? Now here's what's interesting with the little claymation doll there, George Stephanopoulos, on This Week. Did Sondland perjure himself? Why nobody else? Why don't we roll the accurate perjury trap past everybody else, George? Why not? But Sondland, did he perjure himself? Okay. This is on Face the Nation, number 37. He said Trump, Taylor, Kent, and Yovanovitch. Okay, number 38, Face the Nation. President Trump, the former ambassador of the United States, the woman was bad news. She's going to go through some things. They did not want. Here is the guy, number 39. He was at the table. I want to know if he can remember all of this stuff. SH asterisk asterisk. All right, guy, if you can remember all this. I want to know what you had for lunch. I want to know what the waiter was wearing. I want to know how many times he refilled your water glass. I want the whole details at that restaurant. Yep. Number 40. The communists going after Jim Jordan on Face the Nation. Face the Nation, Nancy Pelosi having a meltdown. Okay. And number 41, that's Nancy. Don't ask me about Republicans. Don't ask me. I don't want to discuss their responses. I don't want to discuss anything. I respect you, Margaret Brennan, as a communist, a socialist, all the things that you are in supporting our Democrats on a daily basis here at CBS. But I will not accept you asking me questions about Republicans. I only want to move forward and talk about things. Now, this is Rush Limbaugh, right? This is number 42, Face the Nation, Rush Limbaugh. So see if you agree or disagree. My support for Donald Trump has never been greater than it is now. Agree. It is paramountly obvious watching this. These people have to go. You elected Donald Trump to drain the swamp. Well, dismissing people like Ivanovich is what that looks like. Dismissing people like Kent. Dismissing people like Sally Yates. These people had to go. I mean, the president of Ukraine loves Trump's ass. I love this guy's ass. This woman's got to go. Get rid of her. We can work together. Trump says, hey, get her ass out of there. And Taylor, dismissing everybody involved from the Obama holdover days, trying to undermine Trump, getting rid of those people, dismissing them. This is what it looks like. It was never going to be clean. They were never going to sit by idly and just let Trump do this, Rush Limbaugh. Agree? Never. Never, 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 never. Number 43, I think the guy in the tie is on Face the Nation. I watched it. I think he's the jackass that said, well, secondhand information is actually better than first. And here he is, number 44. Okay. David Holmes, political counselor at the U.S. Embassy in Kiev. He's probably at that restaurant quite often. I wonder if he's a regular. When he goes in, Mr. Holmes, your regular table? Your regular table, Mr. Holmes? Little waiter with the white thing over, or your regular table? Drinks for everybody, Mr. Holmes? This. What did he order for lunch? We want the details. Where was he sitting? To the left where he could hear Sondland right here? Was he looking across the table? It's going to be a lot of emotion in his testimony this week. Was he looking across the table at people saying, going like, I can't believe I'm hearing this. Do you hear this? Wow. So we will see that emotion, raw emotion from Mr. Holmes, as he is the one that said, he's whistleblower of all the blowers out there. I heard it at the table. Mr. Taylor at the beginning said, I got to alter my deposition. I know you found me honest, but David said, I've been holding this back, but I can't any longer in good conscience for our democracy is crumbling and I must speak up. When did he speak up? Holy smokes. Number 48. Major week for public testimony. Key focuses on Ambassador to EU Sondland on Wednesday. Now here is the upcoming, 49 upcoming witnesses. Jennifer Williams, a never-Trumper that works for Mike Pence, that has witnessed intimidation. You got Tuesday, Alexander Vindman. Kurt Volker will be in there. Tim Morrison. Now, we've got a lot more to do on this. Like I said, I only have 2 hours a day. There's a lot that's been knocked down that you need to go read on. Now, Wednesday, Gordon Sondland, Laura Cooper, David Hale. Okay. And then Thursday, Fiona Hill. Wait a minute, David Hale. Hold on. Okay. Just checking something. Now, if you notice, David Holmes is going to do, I thought so, David Holmes is going to do his closed-door testimony. You're not going to get him. No, you don't get the guy at the table that overheard Sondland. You're just going to get the Sondland attacks. Now, they're going to get Sondland. They're going to attack the hell out of Sondland and Volker this week. They're going to attack the hell out of them. And when Democrats are going to. Democrats are going to go after them. And then after they have all that, they'll see how they can fit, Holmes into publicly testifying after he has Sondland's testimony to work his around. He may perjure himself. You never know. Let's go to 50 key public hearings. Tim Morrison, Gordon Sondland. See if I have anything left on that. If not, here's some more. Number 56, just showing you they keep saying what is happening. Number 59, Trump accused of witness intimidation in real time. Number 61, Trump accused of witness intimidation in real time. Now we have number 62. This is the Associated Press. I'm not going to go into reading her testimony. The number 3 Republican in the House says President Donald Trump was wrong to post tweets critical of former Ambassador Maria Yovanovitch during her testimony. It was just wrong. Number 63, a reporter yelled at the president, "Sir, do you believe your tweets and your words can be intimidating?" He said, "No, I have the right to speak out." 64, Holmes testifies he overheard Trump ask Sondland about investigations. You will not see him in public. 65, there he is. Vindman will be in full dress. White House releases memo of President Trump's first Ukrainian call that differs from original. Okay. And that might be it. Let me see if that is. And, okay, let's go here. Number 73, White House official Bolton met privately with Trump to discuss unfreezing Ukraine aid. Number 74, Steve Scalise blew the nasty and obnoxious communist Chris Wallace. Will never be his father, Mike. Always on Chris, lowest rated. Okay, nice little tweet there. And let's go to this one here. Number 77, Pence aide said Trump's Ukraine phone call was unusual and inappropriate. Why, now we have it? Because she said it was unusual. This is unusual. This is unusual. Is this not unusual to you? It seems inappropriate to me. Does it not seem inappropriate to you? No. You just don't recognize somebody that is draining a swamp and trying to get rid of corruption and root it out in Ukraine and stop giving the American people's tax money away. You just don't recognize that. Well, to me, it's unusual. Nothing was unusual about it. And let's see if I have one more. Okay, so let's go to the video that I said that I want to start at 3:16. Do you have that? Let's go here first. All right, so yesterday, and I'm going to wrap up my thought on this. Yesterday, number 72, Steve Scalise, and I'm not going to play the full 12 minutes, but Steve Scalise and Chris Wallace there. So take us to that one right there. That video, it starts at 3:16. Come back when I say when I'm ready.
Witness this week, which is on Wednesday, Ambassador Gordon Sondland is going to testify. So far, Republicans have complained, and they're right, that all of the evidence has been secondhand or thirdhand. Somebody who talked to the president told me, or somebody who talked to the president told somebody who talked to the witness. But that's not true for Gordon Sondland. According to an NSC official who testified, we saw the transcript yesterday, Gordon Sondland met directly with the president at least a half dozen times during this period. If he, and here is what he said, he corrected his testimony on September 1st with a top aide in which he said, "I said that resumption of U.S. aid would likely not occur until Ukraine provided the public anti-corruption statement that we had been discussing for many weeks." Congressman Scalise, if Gordon Sondland, who met with the president a half dozen times this summer, testifies on Wednesday, yep, the president said to me, we're not releasing the aid until they announce they're going to investigate the Bidens and Burisma, doesn't that blow a hole in the president's defense?
Well, the president's defense is that those things didn't happen. And it's not just the president's word. Not President Zelensky himself said that the aid wasn't conditioned and there was no pressure. And then because of some of these innuendos that you're talking about, the foreign minister of Ukraine just a few days ago released another statement saying that there was never a link between aid and investigations. And once again, there were only two people that participated in that phone call. It was Donald Trump and President Zelensky. Both of them were very happy with the phone call. Zelensky said there was no pressure.
Sir,
and the real bottom line is he got the money. Ukraine got the money,
well,
Chris.
First of all, a dozen people listened in on the phone call, and a number of them were immediately upset because what the president said about Burisma.
Well, those were Schiff's witnesses.
Well, wait a minute. No, sir. They're career Foreign Service officers, and these are people who worked in the Trump administration.
Schiff's witnesses. There are other witnesses.
You had a woman yesterday. You had a woman yesterday who was on Vice President Pence's staff. She said it was inappropriate. You had Tim Morrison, who was on the NSC staff, who said that alarm bells immediately went off for him. Alexander Vindman immediately went to see. These are all people, you say they're Schiff's witnesses. They all were working in the Trump administration. But let me get back to my...
Well, no, some of them, they were not all Trump administration folks.
What, are you saying that the person working, Alexander Vindman, wasn't part of the Trump National Security Council?
The Inspector General said that the whistleblower had political motivations.
We're not talking about the whistleblower.
Had some serious concerns about
We're not talking about the whistleblower.
All
we're
of these
talking
people
about
that
Tim
have come forward.
And we're talking about the
You've
Trump...
seen our list of who we've asked to testify.
But I'm asking you about these people who worked in the Trump administration, who work for the Trump National Security Council or work for the Vice President's office.
This is an important point, Chris. There are a lot of people who worked in the Trump administration who have very countering views to that, and they've not been allowed to come forward. So it's nice that some people can say one thing about a third-hand information phone call. There's something else that other people can counter that with, and they haven't been allowed to come forward. But ultimately, President Trump and President Zelensky were the ones on the call. Both of them said there was nothing wrong. The foreign minister of Ukraine just came out a few days ago to clear some of this up, to say there was never a link between money.
He incidentally was not on the call either. But if I could go back to Gordon Sondland. If Gordon Sondland says the president told him condition aid to Ukraine on investigating the Bidens, are you going to say that he's wrong, that he's lying?
Look, I know you've been asking and others have asked hypothetical questions. Let's talk in reality. Why don't we look at the three witnesses who actually did testify this week? All three of them were asked by, whether it was John Ratcliffe or whether it was Chris Stewart, all three of them were asked, did you see any impeachable offenses? Did you see any bribery? Any of that? Not one of those things were mentioned. Not one person said they saw a crime committed.
Sir, with
That's
all
what
due
this
respect,
is about, isn't it?
with all due respect, that very badly mischaracterizes what they said. They were asked, William Taylor, for instance, the acting ambassador in Ukraine, was asked whether or not these were impeachable offenses. He said, I'm there as a fact witness. I'm not there to pass judgment. But he made it clear what he thought about what the president was doing. Here he is.
To withhold that assistance for no good reason other than help with the political campaign made no sense. It was counterproductive to all of what we had been trying to do. It was illogical. It could not be explained. It was crazy.
He said withholding military aid to help with the president's political campaign was crazy.
And the problem with that is it didn't happen, Chris. The Ukraine foreign minister, based probably on some of that testimony, said it didn't happen. Zelensky said it didn't happen. And those are the people directly involved. You can bring out people that have third and fourth hand information. I thought this was supposed to be about finding facts. And if they're going to try to impeach a president of the United States, shouldn't it be based on something that actually happened versus one person's opinion of a third hand conversation?
Well, okay.
That's really what this is all about.
You raised the question that I had raised, a hypothetical, and I think that's fair, sir. Are you saying, though, because Gordon Sondland was a direct witness, he spoke to the president in the Oval Office, are you willing to abide by whatever Gordon Sondland says happened?
abide by Gordon Sondland. I abide by what the president did and what President Zelensky actually received. President Zelensky received the money. Barack Obama wouldn't give that money, by the way.
But, sir, I mean,
President Trump
you're
did.
right. President Trump has been much tougher in terms of dealing, in terms of giving aid to Ukraine than President Obama was. But President Trump released the aid 2 days after the whistleblower complaint went public.
Back to me. All right, there's no way to continue that rambling other than to finish up with, he was pushing, Chris Wallace is a communist, he was pushing Steve Scalise to say, will you abide by what Gordon Sondland says? A dozen people on the line. Let me say this and let me get off of here, okay? If you listen to all the media, and I got a couple more stories I'm going to do, and my time is limited, but I'm going to do them no matter what. No matter what they say about, let's see, this week I have where are the three? Okay, number 26. Now, if you listen to, now others out there are going to break down all the things that's happening, and they're going to tell you who the Never-Trumpers are and who they work for and why they're in the White House and who spied, and you're going to get some great information today. Here's what I want to stay focused on. The lie being perpetrated by Adam Schiff, all the Democrats, the DCCC, as you could do, they're doing polling. I told you, every day they're doing polling to see what works. So the president's, the polling numbers going up for impeach and remove are only due to what, and I'm not saying they're correct, but they're only due to the fact that the media beat a drum a certain direction. Okay, they plowed the snow that way, period. It doesn't matter. That's where they plowed the snow. Now, what they're plowing the new snow is how credible, I don't know what I'm saying there, these people are. Vindman. You're going to hear Vindman. Remember, I told you just a minute ago, you heard mounting evidence, corroborating evidence. You're going to hear so many things. These are distinguished lifelong diplomats. These are distinguished. Everything about them, Vindman, Holmes, everything about... I have the big list here somewhere. We'll just go to it if I find it. Let's go to number 56. Everything about Williams, Vindman, okay. Everything about Cooper, Hale, okay, Holmes. All these people, they will be so creditable, if that's correct. There's everything about them. But what are they building up? No matter what Gordon Sondland says will be a lie. We can't trust him. We cannot take anything he said. So if Sondland goes and they get nothing, okay? Nothing whatsoever. Number 48. Major week for public testimony. Key focuses on Ambassador EU Sondland. Wednesday. They have been building up all week. Let's go to number 49. You see the group there, right? Number 49. All right. Where is the claymation doll? I know I got him here somewhere. And we will actually maybe end with that. Let's see. Where is he to say... Number 35. Did Sondland perjure himself? Watch what happens Wednesday. The media has built up the credibility of all of these witnesses. Why these lifelong bureaucrats, the problem they have is, this is what it looks like draining the swamp. This is what it looks like upsetting the apple cart. You remember what they used to say? This is what it looks like, okay? And President Donald Trump promised you this is what he would do. And it is falling apart. Their swamp is falling apart. We didn't have time to get into the Attorney General today, Robert the Attorney General today. We'll just leave it at that. I drew a blank. Bob Barr. We didn't get a chance to get into that. Okay. Did Sondland perjure himself? They're making sure by Wednesday you watch Sondland. If you watch Bill Taylor, they built up his testimony. Kent, they built up his testimony. Vindman, they built up his testimony. Yanovich, they built up her testimony in the underground private bunker. They built up something they didn't even know was happening. They built up the released depositions on these behind closed door testimonies and left out what they did not want you to hear. They built that up. Then they built out the public perception of these people, why they're untouchable, why it's riveting, why it's emotional, it's moving. Anybody that does not see how moving and emotional this is, they have that so far up, the credibility, that Sondland, no matter what he says, will be a lie from start to finish, according to them. They will have you believing before he even raises his right hand, anything he says will be a lie. There will be roundtables Wednesday morning. Will Sondland perjure himself this morning? On and on. Folks, get ready. We're far from done. Take a break. I got 2 more stories that we're going to do. Take us out of here.